Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and for over 2 years now, I have been telling my audience, for over 2 years, I've been scratching my head and telling my audience that the guys, the Bitcoin maxis that are also really smart guys that are venture capitalists and running hedge funds, the Barry Silbers, the Tim Draper, the Mike Novogratz, the Anthony Pompliano, the Mark Yusko, the what's the guy's name that runs Pantera, Dan Moorhead. For over 2 years now, I've been scratching my head in a way, and at the same time I've been telling you, these guys are not stupid. They know. They are intentionally acting like Bitcoin. They're getting you to look over here at Bitcoin, and I do believe they believe in Bitcoin. It's not that, and I do believe Bitcoin is going to go up in price. But they have known, I've said it over and over and over, they know that Bitcoin is not the one. They know that it's only a store of value as a marketing program because it can't do what the XRPs of the world can do. They know that they've known that XRP is the one. And at the end of this video, I'm going to prove to you, in their own words, I'm going to show you where one of them actually finally says it. They wanted Bitcoin to be the first wave, and it very most likely is going to be the first wave. But they've always known that Bitcoin was not the one. They know it, and they've always known it. And I'm going to let you hear it from one of those Bitcoin maxis himself. And the interesting part is many of them have been invested in Ripple all along, but they wouldn't say the words Ripple or XRP unless specifically asked for over 2 years, because I've always believed that the plan was to phase everybody, to get everybody in the door with Bitcoin, the one that had the name recognition, and that was the marketing program. But they all know that ultimately the one that's going to be the one is XRP. The real returns are going to be the XRPs and maybe the Ethereum 2.0s. You're going to hear it in their own words. You don't have to hear it from me anymore. Now, first I want to show you this. And boy, do we have some crazy stuff going on in this world right now. I'm going to show you some of that. And I'm going to make the point. There are no coincidences. Everything is connected. Write it down. It's true. Barry Silbert shows this. Probably a fad. Asset class returns over the last 10 years. I want you to look closely at this, folks. This is just reflecting Bitcoin. If you added XRP to this, it would be right up there at the top, maybe even above Bitcoin. But I want you to look at these are asset class returns over the last 10 years. 2011, Bitcoin kills everybody. 2012, Bitcoin kills everybody. 2013, Bitcoin obliterates all the other asset classes. 2014 was minus 58%. And see, these are the years that they've used, these are the years that they've used to terrify the average Joe public because they weren't ready for average Joe public to come in yet. These are negative, minus 58%. Oh, Bitcoin's going to zero. It's money laundering. It's only used for money laundering. That is what they did in these, because all the world's a stage, and all they wanted to do is put a big spotlight on this when things were down, and ignore this, and ignore this, and ignore this. But look at what would have happened if you had the fortitude to ignore what you were being told, to ignore what CNBC was telling you, to ignore what all of these the Bloomberg articles that said, I remember the Bloomberg article, one of them said that Goldman Sachs says that Bitcoin will go to zero. And meanwhile, they're all buying in the over-the-counter market for the last 2 or 3 years. That's how the world works. And the sooner you learn that, the more prepared you are to actually make some money. But I'm not a financial advisor. Remember that. All these guys at Goldman Sachs, they're financial advisors, but apparently I knew more than they did because they said it was going to zero, while I said it was bull. Okay. Gradually, then suddenly, Michael Saylor retweets the same thing. Gradually, then suddenly, thoughtful investors will realize that the riskiest decision they can make is to ignore or underallocate to Bitcoin. A decision to invest 1% in Bitcoin is a decision to underperform, increase risk, or destroy wealth in the other 99% of the portfolio. I'm going to try to get going fast through all this. Now, this is huge. JP Morgan estimates institutions could put $600 billion into Bitcoin. Well, if they put $600 billion into Bitcoin, remember the whole market, I don't even remember what it is, but it's somewhere in that $530 billion range right now. If institutions put $600 billion into Bitcoin, what happens to the value of XRP? What happens to the value of all of the ones that are going to be around? Good things. That's the answer. The $100 million purchase from MassMutual suggests adoption of Bitcoin is spreading with family offices and wealthy investors to insurance firms and pension funds. You better believe it. Joker had an interesting tweet. Some added me as a contrary indicator. Let me try my chances to see if I can get my coins cheaper. Bitcoin, 200,000. XRP, 250. Now, counter trade me if you can, you miserable bears. And this guy down here replied with an interesting little chart. I'm with you, Joker. And he's got his own chart where he's calling for getting up into that 200. He's got 220 range. So, interesting things afoot. Now let's get into the real interesting stuff. XRP Honey Bear sent me this yesterday afternoon. This is a Bank XRP tweet. The U.S. Treasury, and as I go into this, folks, there are no coincidences. No coincidences. What you're watching, all the world is a stage, and what you are watching, well, I believe you're literally watching a cyber war going on right now. But what you are watching right now, it's not a coincidence. Let me tell you what's not a coincidence. It is not. I'm going to beat my table. My cinnamon coffee's on the table. I hope I don't spill it. It is not a coincidence that blockchain is about to change the entire financial world while we're having all of these crazy things going on in the United States and around the world. And here are the crazy things. These are not coincidences. U.S. Treasury breached by hackers backed by foreign government, sources say. Okay, and then there's more to this. The Commerce Department says it's been a victim of a data breach. Now, think about this as we go through this. What is the problem? The problem is you've got centralized databases. What solves the problem? And this is not just with hacks. It's also with distrust of, I'm not even going to say the word, but I'll spell it. Distrust of ELECTIONS. Because I'm not allowed to talk about that on here based on what I've seen. I spelled it wrong so I don't look stupid, but I think I did. Sometimes when I spell things out loud, I can write them wrong, and I always get. But anyway, you get the point. What is the problem? Is things are centralized. What solves the problem? Decentralized, having nodes all over the place. You don't have to trust any one place. There's not a central point of failure. That's what this is all about. It's not a coincidence. The things you're seeing happen around you right now has everything to do with what is going to be a new financial system. Everything. And it's not just the financial system. Everything is about to change. Let me show you. U.S. Treasury breached by hackers. Okay. What solves that problem? You create a situation where there is no central point. They go in and they can hack one thing, and but they have to imagine this being on imagine our money being on the blockchain. There won't be a central point for them to bring down the system or to hack it. Look at this. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency just released Emergency Directive 2101 calls on all federal civilian agencies to review their networks for indicators of compromise and disconnect or power down SolarWinds Orion products immediately. And then I get up and I see this morning. My super hardcore intelligence collection, Google SolarWinds customers. So this is the U.S. government saying to shut down SolarWinds-oriented products, and this is who SolarWinds customers are. Look at this list. Let me blow it up where you can see it easier. I'm not going to even name I don't name 3-letter agencies and all these agencies on this channel, but you can read that. This is, even the Office of the President is on this system. Look at these. This is a partial list of companies. What this means is whoever hacked the U.S. Treasury has probably hacked all of these companies. This U.S. top 5 U.S. accounting firms, Office of the President. This is a big, big, big deal. And what solves it? Blockchain. Blockchain is what could solve this. Distributed ledger technology. All right. And then this morning I wake up, and what do you know? YouTube and Gmail among services hit in Google outage. It says here, my super hardcore intelligence collection, Google SolarWinds customers. Okay. And then we go to here. This kind of hit me this morning. I saw this tweet. He says, I'm sitting here in the dark in my toddler's room because the light is controlled by Google Home. Rethinking a lot right now. I was like, wow. So this guy is literally, it makes you think when you see something like that. I'm like, whoa, that's so now you basically are having cyber attacks that would not be able to happen if things were decentralized. But what else? What is the other core problem? Well, I can't say those words, remember. But what I can do is show you what just happens to have been done back on September 20th of 2020. U.S. Postal Service files a patent for voting system combining mail and a blockchain. Well, what do you know? They just happen. They just happen by pure coincidences, even though there's no coincidences. Imagine that. By pure coincidence, the U.S. Postal Service filed in September a patent on blockchain voting just a few months. He says just a few months ago. Here's the patent. You're looking at it. And what's the purpose? Well, the purpose, you know what the purpose is so that nobody can cheat. Now, I'm not saying they did or didn't. I'm just saying that's what the purpose of that system would be. And then I Am Legion, he sends me this. He says, guess someone's a fan. He's showing me a Anthony Pompliano tweet. Many people never believed Bitcoin would hit $1. Then they didn't believe $10. Then they didn't believe $100. Then they didn't believe $1,000. Then they didn't believe $10,000. Now they're refusing to believe $100,000. We'll see. And then I Am Legion is showing his tweet from way back in, is that October 20? Is that October 2020? Maybe. Most know that I am not a fan of Bitcoin, not a Bitcoin fan, but people didn't believe that Bitcoin would ever hit 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, or 20,000. And it's been doomed dead many times, more times than any other coin. So I wouldn't actually be surprised if it one day hits $1 million. I wouldn't be surprised either. And then I Am Legion, who has been on fire this weekend, tweeted this out: 3,000 Christmas lights ready to be turned on as easy as flipping a switch. And what he's talking about is Temenos. And this guy, if you don't follow, by the way, I Am Legion, go follow him. He's at Paisan2684980. And the guy, if you go through his archive, you will see when all of this stuff finally happens, this guy's one of the guys that called it. I mean, point blank, one of the guys that called it. Temenos, the world's #1 banking software. Over 3,000 banks in 150 countries run Temenos. Temenos T24 core banking solution integrates Ripple technology. Ripple has always been an initiative to bridge the gap between blockchain technology and traditional banking. Now that this protocol has been showcased as an integration into Temenos T24, the future is looking bright for Ripple and its partners. Then Ripple, this is from their page, the insights. The Ripple-enabled intelligent gateway allows banks to send payments on real time across the globe. So this has all been laid out, folks, and he's been laying it out forever. Okay, all right. Then we've got this from Keith Taubin. Okay, let me make sure I got this right. Let me have some cinnamon coffee here. This is a short. This guy from Real Vision, this Raoul Paul guy. He is locked on to XRP now. He knows. And he knows that this guy finally understands that XRP is the one. Listen to what he says here.
And this is something we're not talking about Coke and Pepsi. We're talking about two fundamentally different aspects of this technological revolution. And you can extend that to Ripple. The reason that a lot of these key coins exist is that they solve a problem that the others were facing. Bitcoin is not the end-all solution. It has a huge head start, with 70% market share and a brand that none of the others have, but there's a reason technologically for the existence of these other coins. A lot of them are nonsense, but some of them make sense. So,
you see what just happened? So now this Rick Edelman, who's a professional, he's one of the guys that people are going to look to and say, oh, he's legit. So I've said this for a long time on this channel too. At some point, you're going to have the traditional financial people come in and they're going to start talking common sense, which is what he just said, which is what we've been talking about for over 2 years. But they have been activated. I am telling you, with everything I have, they've been activated. They are now being told you can go out and tell the truth now. You are now seeing what we've always known was the truth. They're starting to come out and say it now. This guy's one of them. They're coming out and they're telling you because they're ready. They're ready for you to all come bring your money in. But luckily for you and I, we already did because we didn't pay attention to the BS distractions over the last 2 years. We're ready. Okay. Now, Mark G sent me this. This is an interesting little tweet thread right here. Let me make sure I follow. Yeah, I do follow this guy. LOL, XRP will never hit $1,000. That's cool. I'll still be an American 0.1% when we get back to $5. I don't believe XRP can break $1,000 because that's what I need it to hit to retire. I believe it will break $1,000 because that will soon be a 1-to-1 value peg. What the F is a 1-to-1 value peg? It goes as such. In a 1-to-1 value peg, the assets in question are valued not based upon demand side economics, but supply side. There is well over $50 trillion US dollars in circulation today and only 100 billion XRP. 50 trillion divided by 100 billion is $500 per XRP. This is the same method gold and silver bugs use to project the true value of said precious metals. And it shows us XRP is incredibly undervalued for the role it's being adopted to solve. XRP is not a currency. It is money. Know the difference to know the significance. Then he shows you this, but this is the interesting tweet, the bonus tweet. What few will understand is that $500 is the future bedrock value, not peak. This figure does not include further debasement of the USD between now and rational price valuation of this market, nor does it account for future global market growth. Remember this line, folks. What few will understand is that $500 is the future bedrock value, not peak. This is something that I've believed for a long time. I believe that there at some point is going to be some high figure that will become the XRP floor. I don't know how that will be done, but that's kind of what all of this has led me to believing. I believe that that's what we're headed for. Now, let's get to the juicy part here, folks. First, I wanted to show you this. XRP Crypto Wolf Fidelity CEO Abigail Johnson claims that their main goal from a commercial perspective is to bridge the world of legacy finance with the future of digital currency. The billionaire believes the cryptocurrency space is starting to really take off this time. They have been activated, folks. It's time. They're telling you it's time. Now, for what I've been talking about for over 2 years on this channel was provided to me by @ECOSSEXRP1. And the guy that it is, this is a guy who's been talking nothing but Bitcoin for the last two or 3 years while I've been doing this channel. Now, this guy's very smart, runs Pantera Capital. His name's Dan Moorhead. He's an early investor in Ripple, just like Mike Novogratz is. And I have believed in my gut all along that we couldn't beg these guys to say Ripple and XRP unless somebody specifically asked them in an interview. This guy was at least a lot more intellectually honest when it did come up. Novogratz just went the other way and tried to act like he just doesn't understand it. And I've never believed that he really thinks that. But this guy, in this clip, finally lays it out for you. They've known all along that Bitcoin was just like what Abigail, the Fidelity woman, just said. Bitcoin, they were just going to use as the bridge to get people in. And the second that everybody's in and they've all made their bank on Bitcoin, you're going to hear them start talking about the real deal, Holyfield, which is XRP and other digital assets that are going to be involved in this, that were the ones all along, the XLM, the XRP, maybe Ethereum 2.0, maybe Flare. How about them apples? Here you go, folks. Listen up, because they have been activated.
And essentially just makes the pie a whole lot bigger. If you have billions of people using it, the pie is much bigger. Yes, each slice might be a little narrower. So, Bitcoin's share of the overall tokenized asset market will be smaller. But if you bring billions of people into the marketplace, I think that means the value of Bitcoin or the value of XRP or ETH or whatever it is going to be higher.
So what do you think Facebook are going to do in this? Obviously, they're launching the dollar stablecoin, and I've got a chat with the guys from Facebook, or from, what's it called now, Diem, I think it is, in January. What are they doing with the wallet? Because the wallet's going to be interesting here as well, because if they can use this platform for either storage or exchange of digital assets, then that's a huge game changer for everyone, right?
It is, and I certainly don't have any inside information on what Facebook's going to do. But obviously, they want to make it easy for their users to do retail purchases, not just in their own domestic country, but borderlessly, right? So you're seeing that with Alipay is allowing 1.3 billion people to do commerce online. Facebook, the Fed, all the other entities that are in the payment space, really need to emulate that.
It's not all about Bitcoin, as you and I have talked about. I just want to know where your head's at with the other digital assets. I mean, one of the most contentious ones seems to be XRP, and that's, I did a big piece on Real Vision about it. How do you see that project? Because you've been invested in that for a long time now.
Yeah, I think, it's easy to be kind of extremist on currencies, and, some people think it's all one versus all another. I think there's going to be a single digit number of very important blockchains in the long run. There won't be 2,000, but there won't be just one. So we are invested in Bitcoin and ETH and XRP. And at various times we change our views, and we made a very strong call in our, I think it was a March investor letter, that we want to go much longer Bitcoin relative to everything else. Bitcoin.
No, hear what he just said. He said at times we change our calls. What they're going to do is all these guys, it's been a concerted effort, all these guys have been talking about is Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. And they all know what you and I know. They just haven't been willing to say it. They're going to change their tune. At some point, all of their calls, quote, calls, they're going to start calling XRP. And I think that time is coming sooner than you think.
And we thought we'd do well in the kind of aftermath of the pandemic's economic shock. But now I think the other...
So they thought Bitcoin would do well in the after pandemic shock, okay?
Currencies are going to outperform Bitcoin. And, this isn't to inspire a bunch of hate trolling, but Bitcoin's going to go up a ton. But I just think other things can outperform it. And partly it's just, Bitcoin's the mega cap. It can't go up and down as much as the tiny little small caps do. And I think we're in a massive bull market. So the smaller cap things have high beta. They're going to outperform. Bitcoin's 62% of the market cap right now. Got up to just below 70. And a few years ago, it was down to 32. So a quick kind of metric would be, I think Bitcoin dominance will drift down by Bitcoin going up and everything else going up a lot more.
What's the most exciting thing you're seeing on XRP, and what's the most exciting thing you're seeing on ETH right now?
XRP is fueling the cross-border money movement that we had, everybody in the industry has been talking about for a long time. Currently, blockchain-enabled cross-border money movement from the United States and Mexico is getting close to 10% of all of that very important $25 billion remittance corridor. So that's a huge success for our industry, that a use case that's really making people's lives better. And if you think about remittance, for those of us in finance, the average remittance cost is 9%, and it's just a number, whatever, it's 900 basis points. But for the migrant, that's a month's wages, right? The migrant has to work for an entire month just to pay their remittance company. So if you can send it with crypto directly, it's almost free. If you have to, pay an agent, like Bitso or somebody like that, it's 1% or 2%. But it's still, it's already changing people's lives. And obviously, the most important thing in Ethereum is ETH 2.0 going live, going away from proof of work, which is, wasteful, obviously, to proof of stake to allow a much more efficient system.
And how are you seeing all these DeFi projects? Because, this is...
All right, so there you go. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that all the world is a stage and XRP has always been the one. Thank you for listening.